My name is Kevin Young. I live at 1598 Elver Avenue. I was home this past holiday weekend to see Mom. Like we do every holiday, we talked about Dad. For the first time since Dad died, she talked about, in detail, she talked about the night she drove him to the emergency room where he passed away from a heart attack. She said he woke up in the middle of the night with incredible chest pains. He looked terrible, she said. Waiting for an emergency vehicle made no sense, since the fastest way to get him to an emergency room was for me to drive. Mom said that in the 25 years of marriage that they were together, she never heard him cry out in pain like he did that night, lying in the back of the car, clutching his chest as she drove at high speeds, running red lights. Mom pulled up to the emergency room entrance and managed to get Dad through the doors. They worked on him for 30 minutes, she said. Mom was standing by his side when suddenly his eyes rolled back in his head and it was all over. Friends who were doctors said that since the emergency room they went to did not have a cardiac unit, Dad's chances of survival were severely compromised. He might have made it, but he didn't. In the latest edition of the Lakewood Observer, you will find a balanced, well-researched article about our freestanding emergency department, written by Matt Kuhns. In the first paragraph, Matt Kuhns provides a link to the Cleveland Clinic website that clearly states that if you are having a heart attack, a stroke, or if you fall off a ladder, or experience a serious burn in the kitchen, or break a bone, you need to get to the nearest hospital. A full-service hospital, not what we have here in Lakewood. Later in the article, Mr. Kuhns cites that in an article in USA Today, they say that a majority of the people who show up at emergency rooms with heart attacks either drive themselves or have somebody drive them there, just like my mother did for my father. Clutching chest, crying out in pain, people who are in the desperate throes of having a heart attack are looking for an immediate lifeline. And to an overwhelming number of people, that means getting to a building that has a big red sign that says emergency. In Lakewood, this tragic scenario has now become a very real and tragic occurrence. In the same Lakewood Observer that Mr. Kuhns' article was presented, you will find an article about Norman that we spoke about, Norman Zuanich, excuse me if I mispronounced it, who made it to our freestanding emergency department but did not live to tell the story. Reports have it that he wanted to go to the Lakewood emergency room thinking, as anyone would, that they were fully equipped to save him. If he had only known what the Cleveland Clinic website clearly states, if he had heard what Dr. Kilroy has explained to us in this very chamber several times, maybe he would have made it. But unfortunately, he didn't. It cannot be denied that there is a great deal of confusion about the difference between a freestanding emergency department like the one here and the one that is attached to Fairview Hospital. The whole hospital deal was rammed through while we were told that this emergency room we have now would be all that we need to ensure that the lives of our town would be everything that they need, even if there was a heart attack, even if a stroke was involved. Before another person makes this tragic mistake of driving themselves to our freestanding emergency room, I urge the City Council to approve a direct mail piece to go to every resident in this town that clearly states what the Cleveland Clinic website states. If you are having a heart attack, a stroke, or other serious life-threatening problems, get to a full-service emergency room that is attached to a full-service hospital. Councilman Marks has championed the underserved so many times in this council. Maybe she could initiate this. Dave Anderson has distinguished himself as a thoughtful and measured commentator on all issues here. Maybe he could initiate that. Councilman O'Malley, in the short time that he has occupied his position, has demonstrated that he has a great deal of human compassion in the positions that he has bravely taken. Maybe one of you could initiate, take this first step, and let everybody know what's going on. This is your time to be a hero.
Mr. Essie
Thank you.
is our next speaker.